How you guys doing? This is Jason with Tuna Tech back with another video. And this one is yet another interesting device that isn't readily available here in North America. So I talk about this a lot. This is the Vivo X300 Pro. This is the Chinese version. There is a global version, but the global version is not sold here in the US. Not a huge problem. Chinese version and global version do work here with some caveats. Certain carriers will carry them. Some of the bands that are supported are different. But it's just kind of a letdown that in North America, we get kind of stuck with whatever the mainstream wants us to have, which is Apple and basically Samsung. And I guess you could sprinkle in there Motorola and Google. But there's a lot of companies, other parts of the world, that are making very enticing, like the Vivo X300 Pro, which to me is arguably probably the best camera phone thus far this year. But another company that I've worked with, and you may have heard, and there's some videos on this channel, is Nubia. Nubia is a Chinese company. This is their latest Z80 Ultra. This is their flagship camera device. And when I say camera device, they do. Nubia also produces the Red Magic series, which is their gaming series. They just released the Red Magic 11 Pro, which definitely is available here in North America on their website. But this one is not. So if you want a more gaming-esque device, go with the Red Magic. If you want more of a photo one, you go with this one. If you want it here in the US, I suppose you could import it like I did. The only other difference is this is running the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, which is a very hot SoC. So most phones out now aren't cooling it, and it throttles pretty heavily. The Red Magic 11 Pro does have a liquid cooling system. No matter what level you got, some of the levels you can actually see it, and you can check out videos on it. So that keeps it cooler for longer. But either way, I'm more of this camera person. So this comes with either 12, 16 gigs of LPDDR5X and 256, 512, or 1 terabyte of UFS 1 or 4.1. It also has MyOS. Now, before I go into it too deep, MyOS based on Android 16. One thing you gotta remember, Red Magic and Nubia, and some other Chinese companies, but mainly these two, software updates are going to be hit or miss. You're only going to get, I think with this one, you get 3 years of updates. That's 3 years of security updates, and I think only 1, maybe 2 OS updates. So keep that in mind. You're not going to get the support you're going to get here in the US or in North America for Samsung and Google, who offer like 7+ years. But anyways, the unboxing experience is pretty uneventful. Typical branding. I think they've kind of kept this scheme since the 60 or even 50 Ultra. But this is the box. Inside the box, let's see what we got here. I've heard some rumors. This doesn't include everything they used to do, but let's just check it out here. In the box, you have your SIM ejection tool, which just kind of popped out. This thing goes right there. Just leave it there. Also, you get a Red Magic red cable. It looks like it's USB to USB-C. And then you got some weird energy things for the UK. We don't have that here. And then you get a very, very, very basic clear case. Doesn't really cover the side of the device. So I did order, I like the TPU cases because when you buy a phone with a unique color, you want to show it off. This would be suffice for now, but I did order a regular TPU clear case, I think from AliExpress. So another thing you guys got to remember, these smaller brands don't sell here in the US, so Amazon is not going to carry a lot of cases, at least not quickly. So eBay, AliExpress, Alibaba, Temu, those are your best bets. Just right off the bat, this phone is heavy. So what makes this interesting? So we talked about security, we talked about the OS. It's a 6.85-inch OLED full display. It's like full HD plus, not quite 2K. And I got the white version. There's 3 colors: there's black, white, and then there's like a painter, like blue. Really cool, but a little too flashy for me. I'm not really big into like that kind of flash, but it's a very unique. Feels like kind of like plastic almost, but it's like a matte with a pearl finish underneath, and it's hard to see on camera. But you got your cameras here, and obviously it looks like a camera, and they do offer a photography kit with this, so if you're interested in that, you could probably order that as well. 50 megapixel main camera sensor, 35mm standard, which is kind of abnormal. 50 megapixel ultra wide with a 5.5 centimeter macro, and then a 64 megapixel telephoto with a flicker and laser sensor, and a 60 megapixel under the screen, so you're not going to see it. So that's not going to be the best. It's going to be under some pixels. When you take pictures, it's going to use AI to kind of make it better, but basically it's not known to have a fantastic selfie camera because of that, but it does give you uninterrupted screen reality. 7200 milliamp hour battery. Now again, this is not a thin phone. Let me just compare. This is the Vivo. It's probably a little bit thinner than the Vivo because it's wider, but the Vivo only has a 6200 or 6400 milliamp hour battery. But either way, it's a camera powerhouse. So they say it does 80 watt wired fast charging and 80 watt wireless fast charging. Both those require, obviously, appropriate hardware. It does not come with the brick or the wireless charging. And I've yet to see an 80 watt wireless charging made for this. If you know where to get it, leave in the comments below. But either way, this has got Wi-Fi 7, it does Bluetooth 6.0, USB 3.2 Gen 1, so it does have display out. It's got a IR blaster right here, low light certification, you know, your typical flagship specs. The biggest thing that's going to be a problem for this phone is just the software and the camera. So it is a camera powerhouse, but they always have, you know, every company, you can sell me the biggest sensor or the biggest aperture ever, but if it doesn't process them right, that's where you get your issues. So you got a slider here, so you can actually, you know, I think it's customizable, but basically you can turn it to silent, which, you know, a la the old OnePlus slider switch, which now is a button. You get a red power button, you got an actual physical camera button with 2 stages, and then you got volume up and down, and then you got your telephoto, and then your cameras and flash, and then on the bottom you've got 1 speaker with your SIM and USB-C, and on top obviously the IR blaster and microphones, etc. So what are we looking at price wise? So the 12 gig in black starts at $649 if you can get it here, and everywhere else in the world that does sell this, that's pretty cheap. And I think until December 2nd it comes with a free power adapter. And then the 16 gig jumps up to $799. This is the 16 gig 512. And then the 16 gig 1 terabyte is $899. And in that respect, you can get the cool blue color that's unique. It's got like a painting. I forget off the top of my head. I don't remember what it's called, but you know, it is one of those things where it's like an acquired taste. So like I said, if you order from the website now and you're eligible to get it, there's a $30 off and a free charger. I think if you had ordered it last week, it would have came with a free case and charger, but it comes with a case in the box already. So I don't know if the price will change after the initial bump, but one thing I'm kind of disappointed in this phone so far is just the fact it does not include a charger brick. These companies are notorious for doing that, so I don't know if they're just jumping on the bandwagon with, you know, Apple, Samsung, and everyone else in the world. But either way, it does charge up to 80 watts if you have the proper hardware. Comes with a screen protector pre-installed, and then, you know, we say English, United States, and then we start setup. So this is going to be the global version. It's going to have full Google Play services and all that stuff. It should be supported. Now this is a global, but it's not available here in North America. But I'm pretty sure it should work on T-Mobile. I'm 99.9% sure T-Mobile will have no problems. Verizon, I'm about 60% sure it will work. Probably not. AT&T is kind of hit or miss with their whitelist and what they accept and what they don't accept. But like I said, this is the Z80 Ultra from Nubia. I always like their devices. They offer a lot of bang for the buck. And if you can get the 12 gig version for $649, I mean, come on, that's a no-brainer. You got the Snapdragon 8 Gen 5, you got IP68, 69 dust resistance and water resistance, a 7200 milliamp hour battery. That's right, it's gonna last forever. Another thing that irks me about these American companies and North American companies is that they don't use silicon carbon. And silicon carbon is, you can pack more density and have more milliamps in a smaller area. Now, I would assume Apple, Samsung aren't jumping on because the longevity is kind of hit or miss. But I know Oppo and Vivo have come out and said, hey, you know, we're going to give, we suspect it'll last this many years at this percentage. Just like any EV or any other phone, eventually the batteries are going to wear out. I would assume, like I said, North American companies are just saying, our phones that are sold here are saying, hey, we don't know that yet, and I can understand that with Samsung, especially after this Note 7 debacle where they had phones blowing up. They probably don't want to risk battery tech, but I'm gonna leave a link to the website of this, and if you're able to sell it, I would, or sell it, buy it, jump on it if you're interested. Again, your biggest downside to this is going to be just the fact that it's not going to have a whole lot of software support. And like I said, most of the reviews that are out now have complained about some of the picture qualities, which can be updated or can be changed in firmware updates. And they usually do hit, 2 or 3 big updates at the initial launch or after initial launch, but after that it kind of slows down, and then it's basically just security updates every 3 months or something like that. So my name is Jason. This has been Tuna Tech, and this has been the quick unboxing and first look at the Nubia Z80 Ultra. If you're interested in a review, hit me up, leave a link in the comments, leave a comment, and I will go through and maybe show some picture samples and whatever you guys are interested in. We'll catch you next time, guys. Peace.